Hey, what's up YouTube? Here's David or DBEE. Welcome back again to yet another video. And welcome to Weathering Waves, and welcome to today's videos where I'm going to be talking about my issue with late game content in gacha games. I'm just going to quickly skip the story here. So this is a video where I'm just going to be throwing out some points and some thoughts basically uh, about why I don't like the late game stages of WUA, of not in specific WUA. I'm going to be heavily referencing my Honkai Star Rail account because I am really deep into the game. I'm hopefully going to get to that stage in WoW as well. I mean, that's what we are aiming for, but once you hit late game, there's like literally nothing to do. So, what do I mean? There's literally nothing to do. So, after I'll get out of the little menu, I'm going to show you guys the map, which I really like in WoW at the moment, because there's stuff to do. It's very simple to say, but if I press M on my map and I zoom out, I still have the percentages of exploration, which is, like you see, I mean, I'm starting to explore from the top correctly, but there are still the percentages, like you see, at every stage that I have still something to do, something to find out. This is the early to mid stage of normally every single gacha game. At one point, I had the same thing in Honkai Star Rail. I'm currently having this in Persona 5 as well. And this is, I would like to say, the grindy part of the game, as in you go in, collect every chest, do every, like, rift, whatever you call them, kill every mob, collect everything. Okay, cool. So that's something that keeps you going for a while. But then, what happens when you're done that? You're like, okay, cool. I'll do all of the quests. And like you see here, I have so much content, so much quests to actually do, explore, gain currencies, different stories, different side things, different events. Cool. Jumping into the events. You have an old event tab over here where you can play through all the events to get the currencies, which is amazing. Awesome. That's great. This is the fun part, at least for me, in every gacha game. And they're like, oh, you can start upgrading your characters. I'm like, yeah, cool, yeah, I'm doing that all the time. Blah, blah, blah. We're upgrading, you know. Cool. What's next? Okay, you have the late game dungeons, or whatever it is in the specific games. Like in Honkai Star Rail, you have the 3 late game modes. And the other games have like the towers, you know. Those like that reset like once a week or once a month. Cool. But then you have achievements and the trophies, which you can again aim towards completing. Cool. What after that? Yeah, that's where I'm kind of currently in Honkai Star Rail. I have a lot of the achievements. I don't have all of them, but I'm very close to nearly having all of the achievements. I'm basically just ironing out everything. I collected nearly every single chest. I did nearly every single interaction, nearly every single book. I have a lot of the characters. I'm upgrading my characters. My quest log is like 3 quests. That's it. Like, I'm nearly there when it comes to Honkai Star Rail. Which for me, it's like, cool. And I'm doing the late game content, and I'm clearing the late game content. And I'm doing any current events and all my daily stuff. But then you go to a point, the reason I mention this is because I literally just realized this. I can't really do anything much free to play anymore. What do I mean by that? If I want to actually earn the currencies, I have to wait a ridiculously long amount. This is what I really like about, I guess, when you're starting a gacha account, because you have so much to explore and so much to do. And yes, obviously, like, it's meant to be like end game content, like there's an end to it. But it goes to a point where it's very difficult to play the game and like be able to save up for future characters, because unless you're literally spending your currencies on nothing but the characters, it's gonna take a long time. And they don't give enough content, late game at least, for you to consistently earn money to be able to get a character and maybe get their weapon, for example. Because I just cleared the event and I'm doing all my daily stuff, and the grind is so bloody slow in Honkai for me right now. The only thing I'm doing in Honkai at the moment is, like I said, finalizing the few question marks, few missions I have, the few chests I have, and just upgrading characters, which is currently the only fun I really have in the game at the moment. The slow progress for the characters. But when it comes to physically playing the game, yeah, there's not much. So that is why I started playing other gacha games, because that is your only alternative, in my opinion. Because it's like, if you got nothing to do in one, it gives you a chance to pick up another one. And I am very happy that happened because I picked up Wua, and I am extremely, extremely happy to play Wua. It is a very nice game, very good game, very fun, and I'm back in that like excited stage. So even though I don't have anything to do in that gacha game, I am able to do stuff here, which makes me excited to come back there to upgrade my characters, basically. Also, yeah, I'm skipping these basically on this account. Don't worry, I am keeping up with the stories, and I also read stuff about the game. But at the current moment, I'm just basically skipping through a bunch of the side content. But ooh, I've never actually played with her, so that's gonna be interesting. Oh, she's using that monster as her. Okay, fair enough. But the only other solution I found is simply to find another gacha game where you're able to farm alongside of the other gacha game. Nice thing about WoW is I like their pacing. I like how even though they've been out, they don't have like too much yet. So I'm really, really at a good page at catching up. I mean, I'm basically already caught up. I'm caught up on the main story. I'm starting to do the side content now, and I'm playing less than 100 hours overall within the game, which is a lot of time for a free-to-play game as well. Because remember, you can download these games anytime you want. They are for your phone and for free to play. I don't have them on my phone yet, but I'm gonna have them as well. But something that's, I guess, separating like Wu, I would say, and Genshin, for example, I'm not sure about the other gacha games, is like you have multiplayer in this game. Like it's something so like simple that like I didn't really appreciate in Genshin before, and until like I missed it in HSR. I know it's very difficult to be able to implement a multiplayer game mode in HSR, but it would be nice if they implemented something that would give the game a little bit more longevity, in my opinion. Because if your only reason for playing a game is coming back just to spend money on it and that's it, that's gonna basically, what you call it, burn you out, literally resource wise in the real world. Yes, you don't have to spend money. I know that's the complete optional part. But if you're that far into late game and like I talked in my previous video about their way they market their sales is a lot about FOMO basically. So sometimes you really want the character, but you don't have the resources to get that character. Sometimes you want two characters, which work very well together. That's all you want. But again, if you're that late in the game, you don't have the resources. The events they give you is nice, but for the overarching, because when you calculate the cost of like guaranteeing a character, if you lose your 50-50 and you have the worst pity possible, the characters are very expensive because you don't always have the guarantee of getting your characters as well. I would love to see some multiplayer game within HSR, for example. I would like, again, the companies to give a little extra endgame content, figure out something that's just on the replayable side, but it's not also limited to monthly, if that makes sense. Like, imagine if you had a game mode in any of these gacha games that you have to clear a mission that takes you, let's say, 10 minutes to clear, but every time you clear it, you get like 10 of the Stellar Jades or 10 of the currency. So it is a bit of time and you get a very little reward, but at least you have something to grind consistently there, if that makes sense as well, instead of waiting for hours But also, if they did introduce that, I guess they wouldn't have as much sales as they currently do, because the free to play players would really capitalize on that. And in my eyes, that would be a good thing. Just give something, or the multiplayer part is just to play with friends. It's nice that these games have it, so I won't have that issue in here. This video, I guess, is mainly about HSR at the moment and my experience with it as a late game player. Another point is, I guess, that a lot of people don't reach that level of late game, so there's really not many people who play the game for that long. There's a lot of my friends, and I mean a lot of them, they reach level 80 in a gacha game, like the max level or level 80, 90, whatever it is, max out 1 or 2 teams, and that's it, they stop playing. Which is the average experience of people, to be fair, because if you're a free-to-play player, that's kind of all you kind of want to do in a sense, because you're not aiming for anything higher. I want to see how they will tackle this in Nexus and Enigma, because I think it'll be just a bit interesting, because it's like a PAL Pokemon type game, so maybe some PvP aspects or something. I'm very just curious how it's going to be in that game. But if you have any thoughts about this, because maybe you think there's enough content, maybe I'm just a little bit too much, invested my time in, and like I shouldn't be complaining because you're like, you spend so much time. But my thing is like, HSR definitely doesn't have enough endgame content, no matter how you spin it. They're even testing and adding some multiplayer game modes to try and extend their like endgame content, like lifespan in a sense, because it's so difficult for them to acquire new players. So they have to keep the old players somehow who actually do spend the money in a sense. Uh, it doesn't even have to be game modes like give you the like jades or something, but maybe even some PvP game modes in some form of content. Like you go like into a ranked system or something, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, grandmaster. That'd be even interesting. Like something like AFK Arena, you have like your teams, and I know like that's basically like best team wins or whatever, but you could throw in some modifiers or whatever to make it more interesting. Because like I'm excited for the late game in this game. I'm like excited for it because like at least I know, hey, I can jump into my friend's world and play with my friends. It's such a small thing to like I guess ask for or whatever, but I'm just being straight up with you guys. That's oh, I'm allowed to run. I didn't know that. It's something that like looking back at it is missing from HSR. Anyways, I'm gonna end off this episode here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys uh have similar views as me, or maybe completely different. And you're like, yo, gacha games have enough endgame content, and like I'm not keeping up or whatever. I don't think the character building part really counts as content for endgame. I think that's like what you do in this game just for the progression's sake either way, and what kind of you want to do. Because if you want to level up all the characters, yes, that's content, but you're still restricted by the time to do them. By content, I mean something you physically go in and play and do and whatever, excluding those like housekeeping stuff you do in the gacha games. Because yeah, you can level up all your characters as well. I agree on that, and that is something to do, but that's something to do eventually. That's like me waiting for the next update in a sense. Like if I want to upgrade my next character, if I don't have energy and I don't want to spend money, I don't have energy and I don't want to spend money. It's as simple as that. So I don't think talking about characters in that sense would be considered. Yes, you can build a character and then I know I was meant to end the episode, but I got into a tangent here. Yes, you can build a character and replay the end game mode as well, but you're replaying the same content in a sense, but just with a different character, if that also makes sense. I would like something simply just more universal but replayable, if that makes sense. I mean, it's like it could be literally something as simple as some map. You're like, oh, you have Divergent Universe in HSR. Uh, Again, after a certain while, it's just the same content over and over again in a sense. And after you collect everything in the universe, you're again just waiting for the weekly ones. Because I'm quite far. I'm not very far in it, but I'm quite far. in it as well. Like I said, I still have small bits to do in the game, but like I'm getting to the stage where it's like gonna be like, what's next apart from waiting? I'll still play the game. Don't get me wrong. I love the game with a passion. I would just like to see something a little more because after playing like Wua, for example, basically after playing Wua, I'm like, this game has ticked all the boxes that I really wanted a lot of the other gacha games to have. Like HSR is still my favorite one, but WoW might become my favorite one depending how the game continues, basically. Anyways, thanks for watching this time for sure. Let me know if I'm talking shit or you agree with some of my statements. Maybe you think there's too much content, like I said earlier. Maybe you think it's just enough. Maybe you're like, oh, David, I don't have that much time. I can't come in and do all this content either way. Let me know. Like ultimately, I just want more content for the player to be able to play. I want more Stellar Jades, however you want to call them, the currency for pulling for the free to play players as well. Even if it means you have to grind more, I mean, fair enough. Just give it to us so we have something to do that is repeatable, not just that you once clear it and that's it, and you get the gems and that's it. Maybe I'm just asking for too much because you know, they need to make money. I get it. But it would be nice to see something because like as same thing with the universe in HSR. Eventually I'll clear it. Same thing with all the towers. You're gonna clear it and you have like a period when where they refresh. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. It was your boy David DB. Take care and goodbye.